in. All right. So Teresa, are you ready? Are you psyched? Are you excited?
Yeah, I am so pumped. It's ridiculous. I
Me too.
cannot wait. It's
I
going to
like
be
did
great.
I did like 20 push-ups before this, so I'm really pumped. My biceps are killing me.
You're pumped for real.
I'm pumped for real. It's going to be great. So welcome everybody. This is 7 Keys to Speaking Driven Success. How to create, promote, and profit from a speaking driven business that you are going to love, that is easy and lucrative and fun. And that is what we're here to share with you today. So let's make sure you're in the right spot. This is for you if you want to become a better entrepreneur of your expertise. This is for speakers, authors, coaches, consultants, trainers, and thought-leading entrepreneurs and professional service providers who want to monetize the power of the spoken word. So if you use your expertise, knowledge, or wisdom to create unique breakthroughs for your clients and audiences, this masterclass is for you. I want you to relax. I want you to chill out. There is nothing for sale on this webinar. I would ask you to turn off all distractions, close your door, turn off your phone with the beeping and the booping. For heaven's sakes, get off email, get off Facebook, get off anything that's eating up the bandwidth on your computer, and really give yourself the gift of attention. Take good notes in the handout. And again, if you need the handout, it's 7stepsworkbook.com. It's a direct download. There's no opt-in. It just downloads right to your desktop. Take good notes so that you can apply these strategies that Teresa and I share with you immediately. Stick around until the end of this masterclass webinar, and I have some super useful gifts for you that you will be glad that you stuck around for. So let's see if any of this sounds familiar. Does this sound like you? Do you have trouble getting clients and don't know how to do it consistently? Do you suffer from the typical speaker feast or famine revenue roller coaster that has incredible highs and in some cases incredible lows, like running on fumes, like really desperate, oh my God, where's the mortgage money coming from this month? Do you have fantastic content, great keynote, wonderful seminar, fantastic workshop, amazing book, amazing programs? You get great results for the clients that you work with. But when it comes to new prospects and new people, you're lost in the noise. You don't stand out and you just feel like a best kept secret. Do you secretly know that your work is worth more than what you're charging, but you're afraid that if you raise your rates, no one is going to pay them? And you start out every month wondering, where's my next client? Where's my next gig? Where's my next lead coming from? Are you working way too hard at the end of the month for just not enough money and you don't know what's wrong? You're not quite sure how to fix it. So if this sounds at all familiar to you, number one, we're going to work on this right here, right now. At the end of our time together today, we are going to give you some next steps and some action steps where Teresa and I can personally help you fix some of those gaps, look at what's missing, funky, broken, sad, weird, not working well in your speaking-driven business, and fix it. For the rest of our time together today on this masterclass, the mechanism that we're going to use is a case study mechanism, meaning that you are going to get a sneak peek into what Teresa and I do every day inside of our flagship mentoring program, which is called the Speaker Profit Formula. So we're going to use the same methodology, training, and tools to share these case studies, give you some takeaways, and if you'd like to reach out for help or you'd like to reach out for a conversation on how we can make the similar transformations in your speaking-driven business, we'll have an opportunity to do that at the end. So my premise is that no matter where you think you are in your business, making $5,000 a month, $10,000, $15,000 a month, $0 a month, $2,000 a month, your speaking business is probably in trouble. It might not be in this much trouble, where someone says, "Dear Dave, tell your girlfriend that your wife and kids say hi. P.S. I cleaned out your bank. You are broke. Love, Nikki and the kids." So you're not in that much trouble, but you are in trouble. And let's talk about why that is. The three biggest reasons that Teresa and I see all the time with speakers at almost really any level in their career, but this is especially true with early to mid-career speakers. 2 years in, 3 years in, 5 years in, maybe even 7 years in, folks have this kind of problem. Number one, no clear value proposition. Me messaging, same-o lame-o language to describe your products and programs and services, no articulation, no distinction. You come across as a total generalist with generic programs and speeches and topics, and your marketing and your business development and your sales plan is based on a lot of guessing, a lot of hoping, and a lot of winging. A lot of winging it. Problem number two, no target market. Everyone needs your program. Everyone messaging. No decisions being made on who you specifically want to work with and what problems you specifically want to solve. And that lack of specificity is killing your business. Offerings all over the map, no depth of expertise. The perception in the marketplace, because you're a generalist, is that you're a dabbler and you're kind of making it up as you go along. And you got a little bit of this and a little bit of that and no real expertise in anything. And that leads to a very low confidence approach, a low confidence profile in the marketplace. What I mean by that is your clients and your prospects have a low level of confidence that you can truly fix their problem. Third big problem, we'll get a chance to unpack all of these here in a minute, no sales process. Man, oh man, unless someone has the sales skill set, sales tool set, and sales mindset to have a proactively marketed, professional selling backbone to your speaking-driven business, nothing is going to work. This is probably the biggest problem. Teresa, you think number three is like the biggest killer of a good speaking-driven business?
Yes, absolutely.
So
Without
no
a doubt.
sales process. And again, it's maybe you have a sales process, but it's random. It's accidental selling. It's you never know where the next lead's coming from. Let me go speak to the lunch ladies because you never know. Let me go speak to the plumbers because you never know. Let me hit up a chamber program because you never know. Random tactics lead to random results. Every sale rolls out differently. It's reactive, not proactive. So, having laid that out as our initial little diagnostic tool, honesty time, guys. Pop in the question box, which one of these is most prevalent for you? And I'm going to review, just in case. You can use the number one, type the number one in the question box, or no value prop, if that's really what you're wrestling with at this phase of the game. Put in number two, no target market, and that simply means that you have not yet made a decision on your niche, on your target market. So put in the number two or no target market. And then let's look at number three, no proactive sales process, no proactive sales discipline. You're a sales newbie. You're a sales goob. You're fresh off the boat when it comes to selling. Now, what's ironic about number three is Teresa and I have both worked with very seasoned speakers who are like 5 years in, 7 years in, but they still identify as a sales noob, as a sales newbie, as like, oh man, I love the speaking. I love my clients. I love my audiences. I just don't like the selling part. I'm lost. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. So, Teresa, what are people saying about this? How many ones, twos, threes? Who's wrestling with what?
Forrest says it's number three. Jackie says no sales process at all. Got to scroll up here. They're coming in so fast. We've got Cindy Ackrell says all of the above still. Cindy, we gotta work on that. Let's see, Paula. Let's see, number one and parts of three. So not all of three, but parts of it. And Rhonda says no sales process. Gordon says number three. Michael Moore says I'm a sales goober.
Sales goober. Excellent. You know what's funny, guys? I also got some feedback from one of our clients that sometimes I can be overly mean. Like when I talk about goobers, goofballs, and broke-ass losers. So I've gotten this feedback that I can come across as overly mean. Now, you guys that know me a little bit, you realize that really I'm a porcupine on the outside and a soft, mushy marshmallow on the inside. But we're going to do the kinder, gentler David Newman today. We are not going to knock the people who are self-proclaimed goobers or goofballs or broke-ass losers. We're gonna embrace them with love anyway. Here's what I want to share with you, though, truly, out of those three problems. Everything is fixable. Let me repeat that because it should be a profoundly moving statement to everyone that is caring and committed to fixing this problem and having a thriving speaking-driven business. Everything, guys, everything is fixable. Everything is fixable. The question is, do you fix it? Do you reach out for help to fix it? Do we fix it with you? Everything is fixable. Everything is fixable. Teresa, have you ever run into any kind of situation among our clients where it's like, nope, we don't know what to do about that. You're inoperable. You have inoperable cancer.
Not to date. And we've talked to an awful lot of people with a lot of different circumstances and a lot of different hurdles, but there's not one we can't get them over.
So we have yet to meet the inoperable speaker. I'm sure, I love what you said, not yet, because they might be out there. They might be out there. We haven't seen them yet. So let's start with our first case study. The first part of this program is a foundational program. It's, again, the sneak peek into our Speaker Profit Formula Mentoring Program. Defining and deciding can be such a bear of a problem. Creating a speaking revenue roadmap, we're going to talk about that. And then focus, capital F on focus, laser focusing your messaging and value. We're just going to take 3 of those segments out of our Speaker Profit Formula Mentoring Program and see how these might play out in your speaking-driven business. So the first foundational question that you always have to ask yourself is, what's the empire that you're building? Specifically, you need to decide and define a business model, a speaking model, and a revenue model. So let's look at these. Business model is, what are you building? Is it an organization? Is it a practice? Is it a consultancy? Is it something else? Speaking model or service model, if this were just a regular kind of entrepreneurial discussion, but service model in our world is a speaking model. What kind of speaking do you want to do, right? What kind of work do you want? How long? What format? What kind of audiences? What kind of topic? What kind of expertise? The problem that Teresa and I see all day, every day is this problem. It's the Chinese menu syndrome, where people are doing a little bit of everything. And I'm thinking of, Teresa, of a couple of our clients that actually came into our program with this problem, like with 17 different topics. And we said, no, that's not going to get you a lot of traction in the marketplace, because buyers will say this. Who remembers what this little guy is saying? You guys remember this, right? Arnold from Different Strokes. Come on, we're all ancient. There's no one less than 40 years old on this phone call. You guys know what I'm talking about. What is he saying? What is Arnold saying here? What's the caption? Go ahead and type that in the question box. Do we have an old school crew here, Teresa? Are they getting it?
They do, and they have a great a way of spelling chew. What you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about? So that's what a meeting planner or conference producer or corporate executive, that's their response when you come across as Tom, Dick, Harry, and Jane of all trades. Here's what we want for you. What is that chef's special that is circled on your menu, that it is so good that if you refer someone to this restaurant, you don't just say, oh, you should go to House of Hunan, it's a great restaurant. You say, you should go to House of Hunan, and you have to have their crystal shrimp. It is the best Chinese food I've ever had anywhere in the world. If you didn't want the crystal shrimp, think about it this way, there's a flip side to this. If you didn't want the crystal shrimp, you weren't hungry for it, you probably wouldn't even go to this restaurant. So the question for you, my friends, is, what is that one signature dish on your speaking-driven menu that you want every buyer, every client, every prospect, everyone who's window shopping and browsing your menu, what do you want them to see first, foremost, and only? And having that distinction is going to automatically separate you out of same-o, lame-o speaker land and get you out of the Chinese menu problem. Second level of this is your speaking model. So think in terms of a keynote, half-day programs, full-day, multi-day, training, workshops, seminars, facilitation, retreats, strategic work sessions. We've got people doing CEO retreats. We've got people doing licensing and sponsorships. So the question is, how do you monetize? What are the various distribution methods for your expertise? What is on your menu that people can buy and that you can profit from? So revenue model is how much does everything cost and how much am I going to be expecting to make every month? So you need to have a monthly revenue model. When you say, oh, I'm going to have $1 million business, and I say, really? Well, how much do you have to bring in every month to make that happen? And people say, oh, gee, I don't know. I never thought about that. Let me get a calculator. I'm going to tell you right now, without the benefit of my calculator, it is $83,333. People say, oh, I want to have a $500,000 business, bring in $500,000 a year. Fantastic, $41,666 every month, month after month, regularly, consistently, and relentlessly. Unless you have that kind of focus on your revenue model, you are never going to make it. You're never going to make it. You might hit it once and then go into entrepreneurial success shock. You might hit it once and get lucky and then suddenly have an identity crisis and then not know what to do when you're no longer financially struggling. So here are your building blocks. We're going to build this right here, right now together. Speaking, my recommendation is you never charge less than $4,500. You guys that have been on previous programs, you've heard me quote that number before. So $4,500, $5,500, $6,500, $7,500 for a speech. Same thing for a training day. Coaching packages, 90-day program, anywhere from $6,000 to $12,000 per person. Consulting packages, open season, that could be anything. Generally, our clients go through and get anywhere from $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month kinds of consulting contracts. Licensing, the sky's the limit. Licensing your intellectual property to a inside company that can redistribute and do train the trainer on your material. Could be anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 a year. And then finally, corporate sponsorship. One of the folks that we're working with now is working on multiple six-figure sponsorships. In fact, when we talked about this on a previous webinar with a different topic, and we mentioned sponsorship, it's so funny now because he's coming full circle. He's like, you know, David, when I heard you talk about sponsorship on that webinar, I knew that I had to talk to you. I knew that I had to book a call. I knew I had to investigate how much money I'm leaving on the table by not pursuing the sponsorship. Long story short, fast forward 3 months ahead, which is where we are now. He is putting together a multi-six-figure sponsorship speaking proposal for a big retailer that has about 60 stores in the Midwest. So huge success and huge revenue available to you through sponsorship. But you need to figure out how much of which of these do you want to have. So case study number one. Let's look at someone who monetized this and made it work. This is Steve Weber. Steve Weber, as you can see, is a Forrest Gump tribute artist. They don't call them impersonators. And Steve is out there in Montana, and he was making $300 to $500 a day, sitting in front of Bubba Gump shrimp restaurants, wearing his Forrest Gump outfit, posing for pictures, putting all these silly hats and standing next to 6-foot-tall shrimps and just being a tourist attraction. And the parent company was paying him $300 to $500 a day. He'd go all around the country. Every time a Bubba Gump shrimp restaurant opened, he was there. That was his gig. And he said, you know, I think there's something else here. And we said, yeah, Steve, I think there is. I think there is a huge keynote speaking opportunity available to you. Not only keynote speaking, but keynote speaking, emceeing, and doing multi-day events as Forrest Gump, using the theme of gumption, using the theme of stick-with-itness, determination, resolve, etc. So here's what we came up with. As soon as we repackaged, remessaged, changed the foundational business model, speaking model, and revenue model, his business model is now keynote speaker, conference host, corporate messenger. He's got the messenger service with its own logo, the conference host service with its own logo, and the speaker service with its own logo. How does it work? Revenue model, right? He's not making $500 a day anymore. Not making $500 a day anymore. $55, $62, $12,500 multi-day conference hosting fees start at $5,500 and end at $18,000. Then we figured, okay, is there a sponsorship opportunity here? Is there some way that we can leverage this into a sponsorship? And there is, because students, public school students in Montana, need this message of gumption, because Montana is among the bottom 5 states out of our 50 states in the U.S. Bottom 5 in high school graduation rate. So Steve knew this. Steve was a Montana resident. Steve got tapped into some state and local funding to make sure that Montana does not remain in the bottom 10% of overall high school graduation rates. And we came up with the Montana Student Gumption Tour. 10-year project, visit every school and community in the state of Montana. Multi-million-dollar proposals are going out to various Montana-based companies, Montana-based employers. So here's the challenge for you guys. When we talk about business model, service model, revenue model, price times quantity equals total, jot down in the question box. Share this with Teresa and with me. What's one new idea that you will use ASAP from Module 1 that we've talked about so far? As you're typing that in, and Teresa's going to read these out in a minute here, let's see where Steve ended up. He says, during our work, we mapped out my 3-year plan designed to produce $1.4 million in revenue. David helped me implement and accelerate both my planning and my doing. Working with David has helped me leverage my business into some serious revenue. And that is Steve Weber. His website is speakinggump.com. His business model, service model, revenue model, entire foundational business moved from a low fee $300 to $500 a day gig as an impersonator to a keynote speaker, conference host, high fee speaking expert. So Teresa, what are some changes people are going to make? What are some ahas from Module 1?
Steve Kevin says revenue model. We've got a lot of those. We've got Rhonda Peterson says overall theme. And Paula, we can't wait. Hire David Newman to take an idea and create a roadmap. We've got Cheryl Seven Joe. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. Cheryl says narrow focus. Linda says make my signature dish clear. And of course, I want to also let you know that Mr. John Ramstad says he took your advice and just booked 2 speeches at $4,800, a second at $5,000, and just quoted his rate yesterday at $7,500. They didn't even blink an eye. Oh. He is stoked.
Wow. Okay, so we're taking this part of the recording. It's our latest and greatest testimonial from my man, John Ramstead. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that hugely. Good on you. You get the credit because you took the action. I love that. Love that, love that, love that. So let's move on. Positioning and naming. And this is, again, another huge snake pit trap that speakers and authors and coaches and consultants fall into all the time. So we're going to take a very quick cruise through some branding, naming, and titling principles, how to reposition yourself from a speaker to a problem solver, how to package your services menu to maximize your money-making activity. First step here is label yourself. Don't be afraid of labels. Meeting planners, conference producers, they buy labels. They need to know if you're a sales guy, you're a sales guy. If you're a leadership gal, you're a leadership gal. If you're an IT security guru, you're an IT security guru. Think about it like the CNN test. If you're Kevin Johnson, you're on national global television, your entire identity is in that little 3 or 4 word space under your name. So imagine poor Kevin Johnson's mom. He's on global television and it says hacker. It's like, son, what? Explain what a hacker is to me. And so, you had to explain to your mom that you break into computers and steal money and credit cards. Anyway, you need to label yourself very, very clearly. Your target market, who you want to connect with, needs to meet these 4 keys, these 4 criteria. Need to have access to them. You and your topic need to have relevance for them. They need to have a desire to solve the problems that you solve. And there has to be tangible value in bringing you in. So access, relevance, desire, and value. Sometimes there's relevance, desire, and value on a spotty basis, but you have no access. So, for example, a lot of career coaches and career consultants have this problem because there's no National Association of Unemployed People, right? It's very hard to access a list of speaking venues or coaching prospects or consulting prospects that need career consulting because that is a moving target. As soon as you get a job, you leave that prospect pool. As soon as you're unemployed, you enter that prospect pool. So that's an example of where access is not easy. You want to be hitting yes, 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 and yes. And when Teresa and I talk to people, we look at these 4 things. So you say your target market is this. How do you find them? Do you have access? Is this a relevant problem? How do you know it's a relevant problem? How do you know? Right? Have you market tested? Have you validated that? Do they have a desire? When they hear about your program, do they want it? That's a very simple question. Do they want it? Do they lean forward and go, oh man, we need that. We have to have that. And is there tangible value in solving the problems that your solution is built for? Let's move on to branding, naming, and titling. The name of your company, the name of your speaking-driven business, even the names and titles of your programs are vitally important. They're either an attractor or a repellent. So think about what image do they get in the first 2 seconds if your name is something really generic, like David Newman and Associates, or if it's your initials, MCB Consulting. It's like, oh my God, these are like the world's worst names. These are the world's least imaginative names. What this means is someone was standing around at Kinko's and said, well, I can't think of anything, put this on the business card. So you never want to have your name and Associates. That's a stupid name. I apologize in advance. See, we thought we were getting the kinder, nicer, gentler. We're really not. That's a stupid choice. And then your initials Consulting is another stupid choice. It's no creativity, no innovation, no value to the prospect. Your name and the name of your programs, the name of your keynotes, the columns that you might write in the business journal and in your customers' industry newsletters, they need to have intrinsic value and specificity. Here's another benchmark question. What price point does your name suggest? So there's super cheap auto or there's super expensive boutique, and there's everything in between. So there are going to be subjective judgments based on how expensive does it sound, how premium does it sound. What limitations are inherent in your name? So Whole Foods Market, good place to buy tires? Probably not. I'll tell you one thing Teresa and I are never going to do. Our company's called Do It Marketing. We are not going to go into the leadership business. We're not going to go into the team building business. We're not going to go into the quickie microwave foods business, right? Do It Marketing is about marketing, and it's about action-oriented implementation. That's what Do It means. That's why it's not think about it marketing. That's not why it's stuck at the crossroads marketing. It's kick your butt into gear and do it marketing. That's what we do. Are there limitations in that name? Sure. Are they intentional? Yes. Are they guardrails to keep us focused on what we do best, which is to help speakers, authors, coaches, and consultants market their business profitably? Yes. So that's what we do in our business. How good is your name, and what limitations is your name putting on your speaking-driven business? What level of audience might be associated with your names and your titles? Is it just another same-o, lame-o speaker name? What's people's gut response when they hear it? Do they get it, or do you always have to explain it over and over again? Do they have a desire? Do they have an interest? Do they immediately say, oh my gosh, we totally need that. Do you have a business card? And then alignment. Can you use the same brand name for books that you write, products that you create, columns that you publish, other service offerings that you monetize? So case study number 2 is Tom Davidson. Tom Davidson had a very generic company, moderately successful, called Davidson Leadership. We transformed him to the go-to leadership expert for the forestry and natural resources industry. Company name is now Leadership Nature. His disc assessment, we found a company that white labels disc assessments. So we call this the Range Finder. The Range Finder is the leadership disc profile for natural resource professionals. And there's lots of companies that go out there. You can white label and you can rebrand and rename various instruments and tools. His blog is called Spot Fires, which again, for the forestry and natural resources, they would automatically resonate with that. His business cards and postcards are made out of 4 different kinds of natural wood. There's oak, there's pine, there's cherry, there's walnut. When he hands these out at a Society of American Foresters meeting, people freak out. They just freak out. They love it. They keep it. They put it up on their cubicle. They save it. They pass it around to their colleagues in their office. Because this guy has now moved from being a wandering generality to a super specific solution, to a super specific set of people. So he's got testimonials now from the CEO of the Society of American Foresters. Tommy Thompson's the deputy chief of the United States Forest Service. Large milling companies, paper companies, lumber companies. These are his people. These are his family. This is his tribe that he is now automatically magnetizing about 10 times stronger than he would have if he kept things generic. So Tom was so successful in our work together that this was actually featured a couple years ago in the National Speakers Association Speaker Magazine. So Tom wrote an article called Find Your Natural Niche, and then he asked me to write a sidebar about all of the work that we did together, and you can read this maybe on the slides depending how big your screen is. It says, David Newman, a marketing expert who works with speakers, authors, and solo professionals, offers the following takeaways from his work with Tom Davidson. So we totally rolled our sleeves up and transformed his business. This didn't take years and years, by the way. This took about 8 to 10 weeks to put all of this in place, get Tom pointed in a completely different direction, and start monetizing the heck out of this ASAP. So my question for you, and let's put this in the question box, how effective, given everything you've just seen, how effective on a scale of 0 to 10, let's say, 0 is that you're totally generic, same-o, lame-o, complete best-kept secret, very easy to overlook and ignore, and 10 means you're Tom Davidson. How effective is your current naming, branding, and titling strategy? And no shame here, we're not going to call out names, so Teresa, as people are typing in, we'll call out the numbers, but let's not identify the people that are being brave enough to say 0 or 3 or 2 or 4.1 or whatever. But I am curious what the spread of numbers is going to be.
We've got a 6, a 4, very effective for another business, need to rename. It was a response.
Yeah.
We have a 7. We have a 5, not even close. We have a 2.
Yeah.
We have another 5 and another 6.
Yeah.
And we also have a better than I was, but needs to be much more specific.
So we can totally dial that in. We can totally dial that in. So again, at the end of our process, fantastic clients like Tom say applying David's marketing principles and sales practices, especially around laser focusing on serving my niche market, resulted in doubling my business in year 1 and then doubling it again in year 2. And Tom Davidson, like me, is a certified speaking professional, so he's not a newbie. This wasn't his first time around the block. He still didn't have it dialed in. Still didn't have it dialed in. He's got it dialed in now, but he didn't have it dialed in coming in. And he was very brave and very strong and very determined and very coachable in this transition to make this happen for his business. Number 3 is goals, targets, and focus. How to get to the right prospects fast. We'll look at a quick competitive scan and how you're going to use that, and then how to establish your expert status in less than 90 days. Number 1 tip before we start. big news flash, guys. Everyone is not a target market. So your first step is to decide. Have you decided, and I mean really decided, whom to target and serve? Another way to put this is, have you decided who you're categorically going to say yes to? And here's the hard part, categorically going to say no to. Have you decided where you're going? Have you decided who you're going to be when you show up on their radar? Two powerful words, guys. Decide and define. Decide and define. You attract what you define. Here's what I mean by that. An average speaker would look at the marketplace of birds like this. Oh, look, yellow bird, red bird, kind of brownish yellow bird, black and yellow bird, blue bird. Gosh, they all look great. They all look great. I want bluebirds. I want the red ones. I want to work with the yellow. I want to work with the brown. I want to work with everybody. And that is very, very, very tough to have a speaking business like that, especially when you realize that when you make a decision, when you start to decide and define, it is not hard, if you know what you're doing, to find trees that look like this. And it is rich and full of red birds all day long. So if you were in forestry, if you were in natural resources, you worked for Weyerhaeuser, you worked for a big milling company, you worked for Scott Paper, you worked for any of these companies, you were a red bird for Tom Davidson. And the more Tom focused on finding trees and bushes and forests, no pun intended, Tom, forests of red birds, the more successful he became. Bluebirds didn't give him a second thought. Yellow, not my people. Brown, not for me. Black and yellow, not my guys. But man, he is making money with the red birds. Now, equally, people say, oh, what's the right decision? I don't know. Here's a whole bunch of bluebirds. Just as many bluebirds can be found if you decide that your business should be all about the bluebirds. So 3 critical questions when you're trying to find your right color of bird. Who suffers from it more greatly? Who needs it more desperately? And thus, who will value it more highly? Those are 3 key questions that everyone needs to answer to find their ideal, hungry target market. Who suffers from it more greatly? Who needs it more desperately? Who will value it more highly? Step 2 is research. What do those folks read? Where do they gather? What are they already likely talking about as far as problems, issues, challenges, hopes, dreams, aspirations? Who else is in their ecosystem that you can tap into for referrals and introductions and collaboration? For example, if you want to go into banking, I would encourage you, find every single banking magazine. Find every single banking conference. Find every single banking industry news blog, portal, community, and website. I want you to Google banking speaker, banking expert, banking consultant. I want you to know everything there is to know about the banking ecosystem before you decide banking is my total bullseye target market. So you'll find Private Banking Magazine, Bank Advisor. You'll find dozens, actually hundreds, but just dozens are easy to find. And you dig further, you find hundreds. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. State, local, national, international, big banks, small banks, community banks, investment banks, endless. You do a Google search for banking association. Here's one of the results that comes up. American Banker. American Banker Holistic Conference. It's an old screenshot, the new screenshot. If you Google banking conference, I have to update this, Teresa. Please remind me to update this so we have 2017 in the screenshot instead of 2015. But this website is unchanged. You'd simply find the 2017 conferences. And there's a ton of them. This is your number one result, by the way, when you Google banking conference. National and regional pull-down list. Then you'd follow that rabbit trail. You'd find the American Bankers Association. You'd look at their online training, their live events, their upcoming conferences. That would lead you to the 50 state associations, for example, the New York Bankers Association. And you will find both current and previous. This one's 2014 by design. It's meant to be last year, but instead it's 3 years ago. So we should probably update this to a 2015 or 2016 screenshot, because I want you to see, what did they do last year? What did they do 2 years ago? Who did they hire? What topics were they bringing in last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, so that you can now come in as an educated partner and say, I reviewed your last 3 years of programming. It looks like you haven't done a whole lot with sales skills for women bankers. Now you're coming across their radar like a trusted advisor. You're not coming across like a goober going, hire me to speak, bring me in, I got a great program on sales for women bankers. It looks like you haven't done a program in the last 3 years. I identified a gap in your lineup. Would this be something that you'd like to talk about? Is this an area where I might be helpful to you? And you just start to nail it. You just start to nail it. And then you go to the publications and you read up on that and you see if you can contribute an article or a column. You go to their sponsors. And again, this is what Mike Thompson, our guy who's in our program right now, Teresa, he is so excited about sponsorship that I know that he was talking to you last week about this, but he's talking to me today on our session today. He is going to be crushing it with six-figure sponsorships, and he's doing deep research that we're guiding him through in our collaboration, in our program, in the Speaker Profit Formula, so that he's doing the right kind of research, he makes the right kind of approach, and these guys their heads will snap, and they will pay attention, they will listen up, their ears will perk up, and they'll say, we have to work with this guy because he has the solution to exactly what we're trying to solve with these sponsorship type deals. So find the current sponsors, find the past sponsors. Case study number 3 is Scott McClymonds and CEO Velocity. So as you see here, Scott, handsome guy, CEO Velocity is a consulting and coaching firm helping financial services leaders. What he did is he combined his background in business intelligence, marketing, and leadership. And we were able to boil this down into 3 bullets. What does Scott do at the end of the day as an expert who speaks professionally? Helps you define and attract the ideal customers for your financial institution, develop your leaders and employees focused on those customers, and empower them because of his business intelligence and tech background, empower them with systems and knowledge to create and deliver great customer value. So he's combining marketing, tech, and leadership. And that's his secret sauce. That makes him the only provider. Not one of many, not same-o, lame-o, but once we repositioned this, he is now the only guy that does what he does. And so this gets him articles, this gets him media, this gets him exposure in some of the biggest publications in his niche. Credit Union Business, this is an actual cover. He's got a cover story with a picture. 6 steps credit union CEOs can take to maximize executive performance. Inside another publication, you remember his company name is called CEO Velocity, he has a CEO Velocity column. So remember back to module 2, naming, branding, titling. Is your title so good it could be the name of a column in a magazine? Well, we made Scott's name. Scott's name wasn't CEO Velocity before coming into this program. It was after he left the program because we made that name for him. And he now has a CEO Velocity book in the works, CEO Velocity CEO mastermind groups, CEO Velocity column in a handful of publications, not just one. His media page is 6 screens long. If you scroll down, there's about 40 different articles, publications, cover stories, major feature stories that he has written, not that are about him, but that he has written about his niche, his new topic. So I want you to name one way that you're going to tighten your focus, your targets, and your goals. Put that in the chat window. Name one way that, given what we just saw of what's possible, name one way that you're going to tighten your focus, targets, and goals. While you're doing that, let me tell you where Scott ended up. Very excited about the results, he says. In the pipeline are 3 paid speaking engagements at high-profile leadership conferences, a large systems project with a top 10 U.S. bank, credit union CEO mastermind groups, guess what, called CEO Velocity groups, a year-long CEO leadership intensive with the largest state-based credit union trade association in the country. That's because Scott got focused on goals, Scott got focused on targets, and he has a relentless eye on the ball of how he can serve this target market. So Teresa, what are people saying? What improvements are they going to make? How have we put the fear of the generalist into their hearts?
We've got reduced to 3 bullet points. So it sounds like really looking at that topic matter and getting those points clear and concise. We've got which birds I will work with, so target market.
Hit those
We've got
birds.
realign my company name with target market, focus on solving a problem. Good job. Get focused on target and purpose. And last, we got 2 more here. Create name brand that can align with menu of service products.
Yes.
And write a series of articles that can spark a book.
Dang, I like that. Those are all fantastic. Very, very nice. Excellent. All right, moving on. Number 4, prospecting. And oh man, here's where the wheels come off the bus. I mean, here's where everyone wants to hide under the desk. Nobody wants to do prospecting. Nobody wants to do what Teresa and I call MMA, money-making activity. So we're going to talk about your high probability target list. We're going to talk about strategies to make you emotionally appealing and the logical speaker to hire. And we're going to talk about some live ammo client feedback to get you gigs sooner than you might think. Key question: who has your next prospect already on their client list? In other words, who is already doing business with your ideal clients? Who has your next prospect already on their client list? You do a competitive scan in the marketplace. Who else is out there? What are they saying? What are they doing? What are they not doing that you could be doing? Because you need to become a student of the game. And this makes me crazy. Teresa, I'm not sure if this flips you out, but when we talk to leadership speakers and we say, well, how many other leadership speakers have you studied? The answer is, well, none. That's my competition. I don't want to look at them. So by not looking at them, you are unintentionally commoditizing yourself. And by that, I mean, if you don't see what they're saying, you risk saying the same thing. If you don't see what they look like, you risk looking the same way. If you don't understand what they're doing and not doing, you risk doing and not doing the exact same thing. So by not looking, this is totally ironic, guys, right? It's kind of weird and strange. By not looking at the marketplace, by not being a student of the game that you're playing, you are totally falling in line with the obvious exact same things because they're not looking at you either. So now every speaker looks the same, every consultant looks the same, every one of these empty claims on your website looks like all the empty claims on their website. There is zero distinction, there is zero articulation, and you are overlooked. And even when you do make random accidental contact with a prospect, because you say the same, look the same, sound the same, feel the same, they treat you like a commodity. They paid the last guy $1,000, they're going to pay you $1,000. But David Newman says I should be getting $4,500. Yes, David Newman and Teresa French say you should be getting $4,500, but not as a same-o, lame-o commodity speaker that has no idea what your competition is about and what they're not about. So this is huge. I want you to make 2 lists. 2 lists. List number 1 is your dream exposure opportunities. We call this your DEO. Your DEO is your dream exposure opportunities. These are the corporations, associations, groups, conferences, conventions where you would love to speak. This is your dream list, your hit list of your biggest vision board kind of dream speaking opportunity. Then I want you to make a second list. There's 10. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned there's 10 names on each of these. So 10 dream exposure opportunities and 10 other dream revenue opportunities. That's your DRO, is your dream revenue opportunities, places where you want to get paid to speak. Not necessarily glamorous, not necessarily prestigious, but good kind of meat and potatoes, conference, convention, association, state level, national level, where you know that there's a check waiting for you. And then you do a competitive scan. Part of your competitive scan is to simply Google your topic and speaker. So I would Google marketing speaker. you might Google leadership speaker, team building speaker, sales speaker, credit union speaker, financial speaker, forestry speaker. Google your topic and the word expert. Do the same thing with consultant. How many results do you get? How many links will you click on? How many websites will you visit? I will tell you, you will get depressed. My advice is don't. Don't get depressed that, oh my gosh, there's people doing what I'm doing, and some of them are better at it, and some of them have awesome websites, and some of them have fantastic videos. So you need to create your obvious choice documents to make you both the logical speaker to hire and emotionally compelling. So, top 7 reasons to hire Teresa French. Top 7 reasons to hire David Newman. Dave Caperton came through our program here. He was an overachiever. He went with 10. So the top 10 reasons to hire Dave Caperton to speak for your event. I'm going to suggest these 7. Expertise, currency, relevance, being easy to work with, interaction with the audience, experience, and authenticity. That's what meeting planners are looking for. Those are consistent themes in my research, having talked to hundreds and hundreds of meeting planners and conference producers and association executives that hire speakers, and going to conferences and being on panels with these people and having coffee and drinks with these people. These are the big 7. These are the big 7. So capture those down. Expertise, currency, relevance, easy to work with, interaction, experience, authenticity. Obvious choice document number 2 is what we call our 4 arrows diagram. So show how and where you fit into their world. So here's how these work. Arrow number 1, arrow number 2 is things they're already doing. Arrow number 3 is a contrasting color, and it's your secret sauce. Arrow number 4 is the ultimate outcome that they want. So, Gary at Fiscal Clinic does financial literacy. People want that in their employees and their team. Having a solid company strategy. His magic, his secret sauce is strategy meets financials. And then what that leads to, it's a bridge to sustainable strategic advantage. So, doesn't matter what they look like. They can look like that. They can look like that. Almost all of our clients have built these. I'll tell you why it's important. It's important because you don't want to come up against, we already do that. We already have that. We already have this taken care of. So, with a sales trainer, for example, but we're already doing sales training. The comeback is, this isn't sales training, but it will make any sales training that you've already invested in much more effective. So in this case, we onboard the salespeople, we do functional training, product knowledge training, sales training. Then they need the injection of sales culture, skills, tools, and mindset. And then we take them into fulfilling the mission and the strategy and the direction of their entire sales-driven company. So now the CEO is tapped into the sales team. The VP of sales is totally in alignment. The mission's being fulfilled. The strategy's being executed. Everyone's rowing in the same direction. That's what a sales culture program will do. So, case study number 4 is Bryn Tillman. Bryn came through our program, social selling expert, does all kinds of great work. She built her 4 arrows diagram. Again, overachiever. She made it 5 arrows. Social branding and social selling is in the middle here. She says when she walks this into a CEO and sits down at the desk, slides it across the table, and explains how what she does with social branding and social selling fits into what they're already doing, the CEO's finger turns blue. CEO's finger turns blue. And I said, what are you talking about? What does that mean? The CEO's finger turns blue. She says, David, I take this in on a laser printed pieces of paper. I give them a hard copy of this. And they spend our entire meeting stabbing the blue arrow with their index finger. Yes, this is what we need. This is the missing piece. This is exactly what we've been looking at. I'm talking about this. This is what I'm preaching. This is so important. Bryn, we got to bring you in. Bryn, this is really important. Bryn, this is the missing piece. This is the missing link. And she looks at their index finger, and their index finger is blue because they spent so much time poking, prodding, and stabbing that blue arrow that represents what she does as a speaker and as a coach and as a consultant. So this is huge. I want to ask you a tough question. I know my answer, I know Teresa's answer, but have you lost money because people have said to you, oh, we don't need that. We're already doing that. We're handling that in-house. And you just didn't draw the missing link that of course you're doing it, but you're not doing it well. Of course you're doing it, but you're not doing it right. Of course you're doing it, but I can help you do it better. And you did not position yourself as that missing link or as that bridge to the results that they want. The symptom of that is we don't need that. We're already doing that. We're fine in that department. Thanks for coming in. So have you lost money? Have you lost gigs to we don't need that? We're already doing that. No thanks. See you later. Teresa, what's the verdict on this one?
So far, we've got yes, 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 yes. Yes.
Sounds like a lot of yes.
Ginger says yes, all capitals. So
there you go. Yes, yes, yes. So let's see where Bryn ended up with this. David's program was life-changing in its impact. During our work, I saw a clear path to building a multi-million-dollar business. Even more important, I got into action right away and got 2 new clients, just doing my homework. With the clarity I got by going through this program, I will triple the size of my business this year. And so that's what that little 4-arrow diagram, plus, of course, Bryn was just fearless and tireless in implementing everything that Teresa and I teach and preach and coach on. So it wasn't just the 4-arrow diagram, but it was implementing the strategic prospecting that moved the needle on her success. Tactical prospecting, let's talk about that. If you're a leadership speaker, when you do your competitive scan, you're going to find all kinds of fantastic leadership speakers. And you're going to find their client list. And you're going to start going on a hunting expedition. So let's say we found Steve here and he has spoken for the American Healthcare Association. And you're a leadership speaker and you've got some healthcare chops and some healthcare clients. Maybe that's a good prospect for you. So we Google it, we research it, we look for patterns. Something obviously is working. Find their association website, find the programs chair, find the education manager, find the conference producer, conference chair, find the event staff. Worst case scenario, find the executive director. Those are the individuals that you want to contact. Those are the human beings that have faces and voices and LinkedIn accounts and phone numbers and email addresses. So we're not doing generic batch and blast, spray and pray prospecting. You need to find individual human beings to talk to. You're going to find 50 state chapters. So when I go to American Healthcare Association, I click on membership, I click on state affiliates. Here, this is my shopping list, guys. This is my shopping list. Oops, let me go back. Alabama, I'm talking to Bill O'Connor. There's his address, there's his phone number, and yes, I can send him a fax. Wow, faxing in 2017. That's crazy.
Who knew?
I know, right? I'm faxing this guy all day, every day. Trust me. Bill O'Connor, you're getting a fax from David Newman. Arizona, I'm talking to my new best friend, Kathleen. California, I'm all about James Gomez. In Alaska, I can see Russia from my backyard, Dennis Murray. Arkansas, Rachel Davis. Colorado, Doug Farmer. I could spend the entire rest of this week on these 50 executives, and I would come out with 3 to 5 booked speaking gigs. Let me repeat that. I'm doing a little bit of research. I'm doing a deep dive. I'm finding the connections. I'm finding the actual humans that I'm going to reach out to. And then with a proactive, professional, trusted advisor style outreach plan that we help all of our clients create, you talk to 50 people. You're going to probably have somewhere between 10 and 15 conversations, maybe more. Out of those 10 or 15 conversations, you are going to generate maybe 5 or 6 serious prospects. And then depending on your closing ratio, 2 or 3 gigs. That is the math. I'm going to show you some math here in a moment that is even more encouraging. This is not about spray and pray. This is about intentionality. Man, that's hard to say. Intentionality and laser focus. It's laser beam, not shotgun. So there's obviously more than one association that might be serving your target market. So let's say I want to serve engineers. I Google engineering association. There is more than one engineering association. Look at what I found here. Directory of professional engineering associations. I'm going to click on that and prospect, 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 prospect. Is there one more? Prospect? No, there wasn't. So jackpot, jackpot, jackpot. For each association that you find, there's one national, there's 50 states, there's probably 10 more adjacent associations like them. So electrical engineers, civil engineers, mechanical engineers, biomechanical engineers, pharmaceutical engineers, construction engineers, you name it. There's probably 10 more adjacent and affiliated associations. So now we found 510 prospects. And you get to pick. You get to decide who you want on your target list. The key with your target list is it's a finite, focused, written, workable list. I'm guessing 99.9% of the people on this masterclass right now do not have this list. You do not have a finite, focused, written, workable list of 20 specific corporations, associations, and groups that we call your active 20. Maybe it includes some of your dream exposure opportunities. Maybe it includes some of your dream revenue opportunities. But anyway, if you want to keep track of these, one tool, very simple tool that we recommend is called Pipedrive. And there's a special link to get you a 60-day free trial to Pipedrive. Ordinarily, Pipedrive is only a 30-day free trial, but we have a special link here. It's doitmarketing.com/Pipedrive. And Teresa, do you mind popping that into the chat window just so people can click on it and check it out here if they want to do it?
I'm ahead of you already. It's already there for them.
Fantastic. Clearly, my chat window is closed because I'm focusing on the slides, so thank you. So doitmarketing.com/Pipedrive. This is what you use to keep track of your active 20. If you don't see it, you can't work it. If you can't work it, you can't sell it. If you can't sell it, you are going to be broke. That's my new rap song. That's my I'm rapping. It's like Eminem, man, D&D. It's gonna be crazy, man. TNT, we got T2, we got DRN. Little inside joke there. But that's our rap names because truly, gang, if you don't see this every day, you're not gonna sell it, you're not gonna work it, you're not gonna take it to completion. So I strongly recommend Pipedrive or your favorite CRM. If you have something else that you like that works better, God bless you, that's great. Use it. No CRM means no visibility, means no working your plan, which means no sales. And then people wonder, how come I'm broke? Well, it's broke. You're broke because you've got no dashboard of specific opportunities in front of you that you are moving one step closer to a check. So case study number 5, Copy Green, green light. She is a fantastic speaker and consultant out in Michigan. In the Detroit suburbs, as a matter of fact, so no big surprise. She works with the big car companies, GM, Ford, Chrysler, etc. We helped her come up with this tagline, again, positioning, prospecting, prospect attraction, power-packed communications, fuel relationships, accelerate results, right? Auto industry, get it? Fuel, accelerate, that's kind of clever. I work with companies that want to create customers for life and individuals who want to build relationships that last. And again, the prospect pulling power of that conciseness, the prospect pulling power of what do I say, what do I send, how do I introduce myself to prospects? So let's ask this question. How much money would a laser-focused, high-value prospecting plan bring in for you? Be honest. It would take you from what you're making now. How much more? How much more would it bring in? Would it bring in an extra $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month? If you got really focused, if you had a daily plan that you were working with specific corporations, associations, groups, meeting planners, conference producers, If you had, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. If you had a finite, workable, written list in a tool like Pipedrive that you woke up every day, you knew who to talk to. You knew who to send some value items to. You knew who to get referred and introduced to. You knew how to accidentally, on purpose, connect with them on LinkedIn. You knew what portals and blogs and communities they hung out on, and you could increase your visibility and your presence on. You did everything you could every day to get in front of those 20 people. How much money would that kind of prospecting plan bring in? Teresa, hit me with some numbers.
Best answer yet. So far, I'm not down the list, but so far, Forrest says stupid money, $sign, $sign.
You bet.
Dan says 20K a month. Michael says easily 10K. I love Jackie's response. Sky's the limit. There is no limit. Paula says 20K, and John says 6 figures. Forrest says again, I'd have to leave my 9 to 5.
Love it. That's the goal, buddy. That's the goal. So I can't emphasize enough the power of this. It is very hard to hit a target that you cannot see, my friends. I want to let that sink in. I really want to let that sink in. I struggled with this for years. Teresa, I don't know if this was a big roadblock for you, but man, I struggled with this one for years. I was like, oh, I want to get hired. By who? Anybody with a check. From where? Anywhere. When? Anytime. What topic? Any topic. Give me a check. I need to eat this month. When I got proactive, selective, specific, and intentional. Write those down. Those are pretty good. Proactive, specific, intentional, and whatever the fourth one was. We got to replay the recording, Teresa, and grab that for our next bunch of sales calls, because that's really good. When you do that, the universe opens up. The targets start to fall into your fishbowl. It is ridiculous. You are making stupid money, and it becomes stupid simple to find people that you want to simply reach out to and help. That's all this is about, gang, is who can you reach out to and help. So let's catch up with Copy in Michigan. What I love most about working with you, and she said some very nice things, tremendous value, direct, no BS, to the point, techniques and processes, bulletproof, action-oriented, not philosophy, help us get results. This is the part I like. And you give us everything that we need to do that. How do I know? I jumped into your program, and after the first week, using the tools I developed with your guidance, I locked in a $60,000 plus contract because her prospecting was now on point. Her prospecting was aimed at the right people with the right language, with the right messaging, the right packaging, the right value, so they immediately fell into her barrel. And it was an easy, lucrative, fun process. It wasn't this laborious, painful, hard, ugly, nasty thing that she hated doing every day. We're in the home stretch here, gang. Number 6, sales mindset and skill set. Huge warning. Warning, warning, warning. If your mindset isn't right, none of the rest of this is going to work. You have to understand that you're reaching out to help people. You have to understand in your heart and soul that you are offering value. They are looking, the meeting planners, conference producers, they are looking to serve their audience, their members and their team. If you have something of awesome value to that audience, you have something of awesome value to those members in a corporation or a department, you have some awesome value for that team, they are going to be eager to speak with you. They're already looking to solve the problems that you solve. So you have to focus in on that research step that we talked about and the relevance of connecting what you do with what they need and want. So the initial step is simply an invitation to ask how you can help them. Very, very simple. So, for example, here's a symptom of you not being in touch with the right mindset. You as a speaker. Do you have trouble finding buyers who can afford what you do? Nobody wants to spend 5 or 10 grand. Everybody wants to solve a problem. So if you have a problem finding buyers who can afford your speaking, coaching, and consulting, you've got a relevance problem. It's not a money problem. It's not a fee problem. It is a relevance problem. You got a problem filling your pipeline with serious prospects who have budget. You've got a reach problem. You're not reaching the right people. You're trying to reach too broad. You're trying to boil the ocean. You're trying to serve everybody. Gang, you cannot put everybody in your pipeline. Trouble getting initial conversations, trouble getting second meetings, trouble negotiating, all of this is symptomatic that you don't have the right prospecting and selling mindset. When you're talking to the right prospect for the right reason with the right language, they say yes, oh my God, when can you start? This is perfect. We've been looking for a speaker like you. We've been looking for a program like this. The biggest shift you need to make is don't look for ways to sell them your services. Do look for ways to solve their problems, because they can pick up on the vibe of someone genuinely interested in helping them achieve success, and they can pick up on someone who's a self-centered, goofy goober. The exact scripting that you need to close most deals sounds like this. For the program that we just talked about that will improve, boost, create, generate, reduce, slash, solve, fix, whatever, outcome-based language. And Teresa and I coach on this all the time about translating what you do into outcome-based language. And give your folks the exact strategies, mindset, and skill set to significantly move the needle on blank, right? Whatever the results that they said were most important. The investment is only $5,500. That's your speaking fee. The investment's only $7,500. The investment's only $6,500. Here's a bonus tip. Always end your speaking fees with $500. Because strange as it is, math being what it is, $7,500 sounds less than $7,000. $9,500 sounds less than $9,000 because it ends with the word hundred. The word hundred is cute and fluffy like this little puppy. How much for the cute fuzzy puppy? So he's friendly. He's cute. He's $2,500. If you, oh my God, it's $2,000 for a dog? No, it's not $2,000. It's only $2,500. So end your fee with $2,500. End your fee with $500 rather. End your fee with $4,500, $5,500, $6,500. Don't be a $2,500 puppy. Be a $5,500 speaker, because that sounds less than when you use the word thousand with 5,000. So case study number 6, Jim Bob Soulsbury, master prospector after finishing our program. Initially, banging around, looking for love in all the wrong places. So Jim is in the education space. Jim does classroom management training. Jim does teacher in-service days. Very successful guy coming into the program. He used one tool. I'm going to go back to that in a second. He used one tool. He said, David, I'm making $10,000 a month with just one of the things that you taught us in the program. And whenever someone says that, I go, hang on. What was the tool? What was the thing? And he says, it was that cold call email. The cold call email that's, I'm not sure if you can help me. I'm hoping you might point me in the right direction. Would you happen to know who's responsible for selecting speakers for your 2018 conference coming up in January? I have a program titled blank. I'm not sure if a high energy program like this is a good fit for your event. From what I saw on your website, I think it might be, and I would like to connect with the right person to find out. Thank you so much in advance. He says that email that I'm giving to you guys right now, by the way, that email is making me $10,000 a month. I said, hang on. How is that possible? How is that math working for you? He says, number one, it's the only thing I'm doing. It is the only thing I'm doing. So I'm doing 5 high relevance contacts per day. 5 touches, 5 emails, 5 calls, 5 whatever. That means 25 contacts per week. Out of the 25 contacts, I'm getting between 10 and 12 responses. And a response means, yes, I'd like to talk. No, we don't hire speakers. We don't pay speakers. Go away, drop dead. Those all count as the responses. 3 or 4 serious prospects emerge. Out of those 3 or 4 serious prospects, I sell 1 every single week like clockwork. I do 5 contacts a day, 25 contacts a week. I know what to say and what to send, so there's some strategy behind it. It's not just blind cold calling, spray and pray. 10 to 12 responses, 3 to 4 serious prospects, 1 program sells. Now, again, he's in education. So he's got his fees really max out at 2,500 or 3,000. If this were you and me, if this were business speakers, it would be 4,500 to 5,000. So he's making 4 sales a month at 2,500 or 3,000. He's bringing in 10K, 11K, 12K. If you and I did this, well, if I did it, it would be $40,000 a month. But let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you. If we did this for you at 4,500, not 2,500, 4 programs a month is an $18,000 business. 4 programs a month is an $18,000 a month business. Maybe you're there. Maybe you're already doing some level of this. I'm talking about let's get 18,000 more. Let's add $18,000 to what you're already doing. So let's catch up with Jim Bob. David, using just one of the strategies from your mentoring is consistently bringing in $10,000 a month. Working on my business week in and week out with focus, momentum, and detailed implementation assignments makes all the difference. At first, I wasn't sure of the ROI on spending this kind of money. Turns out, dollar for dollar, this program is the #1 best investment I've made into my professional speaking career. And that's Jim Bob's story. So sponsorship, last one. Future of speaking, in my opinion. Smartest, highest leverage way to monetize your expertise. What this means is speaking not for the speech, but speaking to help your client market, advertise, sell, and promote to their prospects, their stakeholders, people that they need to reach and that they need to impress. So this has a much bigger scope, much bigger impact, more volume of talks, much more customization, much deeper level of client relationships, because we're often booking 5, 10, 15, 20 gigs at a clip. Could be a national or a global scope. Totally not about you as a speaker. Totally not about speaker model. It's totally about problem solver model. So examples. A manufacturer that sponsors you to speak to their distributors. A bank that sponsors you to speak to their high net worth clients. A financial products company that sponsors you to speak to their financial advisors that sell their financial instruments. A Fortune 500 company that brings you in to speak to their minority supplier network. A pharmaceutical company that sponsors you to go out to hospitals and healthcare clinics and speak to their doctors and patients. A software company like Microsoft, for example, and I have one of those stories too, Microsoft sponsoring you to go out to small technology shops, IT shops, resellers, and tech consultants. So case study number 7 is Mike Roby. Mike Roby used to live with Teresa there in Minnesota. He was actually the past president of the NSA Minnesota chapter. You see the logo there on his sponsor proposal. We worked this up together, and it is his speaking and media tour. And it's specific to John Hancock. So you see the John Hancock logo, ING, Allianz Insurance. Mike is in the financial world, and these financial product companies like John Hancock hire him to go around the country and speak to financial advisors who are in a position to sell and recommend John Hancock financial products, investments, funds, etc. So we built this out very specific. The column that we got for him in Bank Advisor magazine played a part of this because now he's a thought leader. Now he's got platform. Now he's got some reach into the marketplace. My question is there a sponsor model that makes sense for you? Just showing you what I showed you, all those different kinds of relationships of, this one putting you in front of that one for the benefit of this third one. Is there a sponsorship model that you've been playing with or you've been thinking about that might get you 5 gigs, 10 gigs, 15, 20 gigs at a time and get you into a much deeper relationship with a sponsor than constantly chasing the hamster wheel and going gig to gig to gig? Type in yes if it's yes. We're all about being honest here, so type no if it's no. No is not a bad answer. But I'm curious, is there a sponsor model that makes sense for you? Just after that short discussion of what people like Mike did and what other folks that have come through our program have done.
Looks like we've got some yeses. We've got a couple maybes. I'm not sure, but love the concept. I
Cool.
think there might be, but I need to do some research.
Love it.
Fascinating question. Can't wait to research it.
Love it.
Couple of yeses, couple of all capital yeses. So it looks like some breakthroughs there. That's awesome. Forrest is actually calling out who he thinks it is. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's catch up. Let's catch up again with Mike. Mike Roby in Minnesota that did this. David helped me negotiate a sponsorship deal worth tens of thousands of dollars, brought several of my product development ideas to life, advised me on how to reposition my expertise in my target market, facilitated my getting a column in my industry's leading publication, and added value in other ways I can't even measure. So now you have a choice, my friends. This is the sunset on the masterclass highway. Here's how Teresa and I can help. If some of what you heard today really resonates with you, Teresa and I have set aside some time in the next couple of days. Today, end of today, into tomorrow, and I think we've got some time Monday to speak to you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your business starting right away. And the cost of these breakthrough sessions is free, but it's not for everybody. So let's be very specific on who we can help and who this is probably not a great fit for. So this is not for you if building a high-fee, speaking-driven business is not your number one priority. All these 7 case studies, they had their sleeves rolled up, they were ready, they were implementing, they did not waste a second. This was job number 1 for them, and that's why they had the 7 success stories that you saw in our 7 case studies. You don't know what you want to be when you grow up. This is not for you. This is for serious speakers and experts only. If you refuse to follow a proven process and take action on the detailed instructions that Teresa and I will give you, not for you. Our program is not for you if you refuse to change your low-fee mindset and your low-fee business model, so you must be coachable to work with us. If you're not willing to network and connect with people that you'd like to help, then you're going to have a really hard time with the prospecting strategies that we give you. And if you're down to your last few dollars and you've got no resources, you're running on fumes, you need to pay the rent, because I hate to tell you, gang, our industry is full of get-rich-quick BS and nonsense. And this is not that. This is not the get-rich-quick nonsense. This is real. This is permanent, as you saw in our 7 case studies success stories. So this is for you. Collaboration with us is for you. If you're already up and running to some degree as a speaker, coach, consultant, service provider, meaning you have a website, even if it's basic, you've got a handful of clients, you're bringing in $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, meaning you're in business, you're in the game. You have some degree of a following, meaning a little bit of web traffic, maybe a blog, maybe a podcast, some social media going on, maybe a small email list, even if it's tiny. But if you're up and running, we'd like to talk to you. We can probably help. If you're tired of doing okay with not enough cash flow, if you're willing to follow a proven process to ramp up your revenue and you take mentorship and direction well, if you take action quickly, and this is huge, no arguing, no pushback, no hesitation, no second guessing, no excuses, no whining, no complaining. When we say go, you say I'm going. When we say jump, you say how high. And you see the results of people that do that with us. You see the results of people that do that with us. And if you want to put another 10K to 20K in your pocket over the next 60 to 90 days and keep it coming in and build a predictable flow of clients and cash for the rest of your speaking-driven professional career. If that's you, to apply for an exploratory call to see if and how we can help you. It's doitmarketing.com/apply. And I know Teresa's already one step ahead because she's already put it in the chat box. So that's where to book a call to talk with us. We're going to do a Q&A here, do a big massive Q&A, make sure no one doesn't leave this masterclass without every single question answered. But very, very important that if this is you, you're up and running, you've got some degree of a following, you're tired of doing okay with not enough cash flow, you are coachable, you're a fast, good, smart action taker. I like to say that our clients are fast, brave, and smart. That's really what this comes down to. Our clients, would you agree, Teresa, looking back over our past 10, 15, 20 folks that have come through our program, fast, brave, and smart?
Fast, brave, smart, action takers, resourceful, and determined.
I love it. I love it. And if you're serious about getting out of this kind of treading water financially, and you want to get the $45, $55, $6,500 gigs coming in, maybe you want to get the six-figure sponsorships coming in. We work on that too. That's okay if you're ambitious that way. So doitmarketing.com/apply. Here's why we're doing this. We're being very transparent here. On this call, we're going to help you get total clarity about exactly what you want your speaking-driven business to look like and the exact steps that you should take to fix the problems, close the gaps, and achieve your goals. Because right now, gang, something's not working. If you're not running a six-figure, multi-six-figure business, and you could be, and you should be, and you want to be, there is stuff that is missing, broken, funky, and sad. I just hate to tell you, hate to be the bearer of bad news. We're going to identify specifically what is missing, what is broken, what is funky, and what is sad in your speaking-driven business so that we can fix it. Now, if you want us to help you operationalize those recommendations, and if we think it's a good fit, we may invite you to become one of the 5 new clients that we'll take on this month. But this is a very, very selective process at that level. We help a lot more people than we work with. Let me repeat that. It's a very important distinction. We help a lot more people than we work with. Some people aren't serious. Some people, we have a call with them and we realize there's no there there. Some people have gone through every single coaching and consulting program and they're learning addicts and they're not doing addicts. The last time they took an action was in 1989. And that's not the kind of people we can help. That's not the kind of people that we invite to the program. We invite about 30%, just so you know, just again, total transparency here. We book a lot of these calls because we like helping people. We like moving the needle on your success. There's an application process. That's the first cut. If we don't feel we can help you, we're not going to waste your time with a call. If we talk to you on the call and we don't feel you're a good fit for the program, we're not going to take your money. We're not going to take that risk. We only work with people that we have a very high degree of confidence that we can help. And you've seen the success story after success story after success story. So if you want to explore that, the first couple steps that get you there is just to apply for the exploratory call. doitmarketing.com/apply. Here's what we're going to look at fixing. Here's what we're going to look at fine-tuning. Here's what we're going to look at repairing the missing pieces of. The first thing is what we talked about today: business model, service model, revenue model. There's probably some stuff that's broken and missing and funky and sad. We're going to explore that with you. Plus, we're going to talk about your fees and your revenue model. That's probably broken. We're going to talk about what that needs to be. Your topic, your focus, your niche, nailing down the secret sauce that only you provide. Like Scott McClymon's, like Bryn, like all the folks that we talked about today, like Copy, like John, like all those folks. And then we're going to look at how dialed in are you to your ideal clients and audiences. How do you know who they are? How do you know where to find them? How do you know what to say and what to send and how to connect with them? You probably don't, because if you did, you'd already have a six-figure, multi-six-figure speaking business. So let's work towards fixing these 3 areas in your business. When you go to doitmarketing.com/apply, book a time. Let's see what we can do to fix your situation. If we work together, we're going to put you through the same program that we just saw those 7 success stories. Same program we put all of our six and multi-six-figure experts through. It includes skill building, accountability, and mentoring baked into the program to make sure that you're successful this time, even if you've bought a ton of other courses, hired coaches, wasted money on all kinds of boot camps and seminars that promised you the moon and grossly under-delivered for you in the past. How do Teresa and I know this? Been there, done that, bought the t-shirts. There's a lot of snake oil in our business. There's a lot of phony, fraud, get rich quick, $1 million speaker this, millionaire speaker that, and it doesn't work. It leaves good speakers and good entrepreneurs like you broken, disappointed, and discouraged because none of that hype, none of that crap actually works. So if you want something that really works, if you want a transformation in your business, not information, but implementation and transformation, let's get you to the first step with doitmarketing.com/apply. Let's help you crack the code. Let's help you fix what's broken. Let's help you dial in some success. Our spaces are going. I think, Teresa, people are already booking, perhaps.
Absolutely. I can't wait to talk to you, Barbara. Tom, I've got you. Carrie, we're going, talking to Laura right now and figuring out a time. So yeah, I think the end of the week is looking full. I'm excited. John, great. I'm looking forward to talking to you as well. We do have one question here, David, from Jackie Martin.
Well, let's get some questions, actually. So as people are signing up, again, if you're inspired to reach out for some exploratory help, and again, there is an application process. We don't talk to everyone who wants a call. Everyone who wants a call doesn't necessarily get an invitation to work with us. The people that work with us, though, get the results that you saw today. So I'm just being really clear about that. If you want to take the first few steps, it is doitmarketing.com/apply. And now we're into our Q&A. And who's got the first question? If you typed a question earlier and it might have flown by, Teresa didn't see it, I didn't see it, feel free to retype and we will make sure everyone's questions are answered.
Absolutely. Jackie Martin is, how do you, so in regards to sponsorships, how do you approach that kind of relationship?
Carefully. No, I'm kidding. Well, so again, research, right? There is an entire set of things that you need to do. And again, Teresa, I'm just going to refer to our current client, Mike Thompson, who's doing a lot of fantastic work and deep dive research on what do these sponsoring corporations really want? What's missing for them? How are they trying to reach different kinds of audiences, different kinds of stakeholders? How does this tie into their PR? Because sponsorship really boils down to one of three things. Companies, and this is true of sports sponsorships, speaker sponsorships, seminar, conference sponsorships. Companies sponsor people and events when they want to do one of three things. They want to reinforce a positive image they have in the marketplace. They want to reverse or repair a negative image they have in the marketplace. Or they want to reach out to a new audience and a new demographic and a new set of customers or clients or prospects or influencers. So this is the same reason they do PR. It's the same reason they do their corporate communications. It's the same reason they sponsor the golf outing and the chamber and put the signs up in the stadiums. Except this has the power of face-to-face. This puts them and their company and their brand toe-to-toe, belly-to-belly with the exact people that the sponsor wants to reach in a non-salesy, non-marketing environment. Because they're saying, hey, we're bringing in Jackie. Jackie's the expert that's going to help you with so-and-so. And what's in the corner of Jackie's slides? Their corporate logo. What is on the cover sheet of Jackie's handout? Their corporate logo. Now, they didn't hire Jackie to do that once. They hired Jackie to do that 12 times in their 12 biggest markets all across North America. And so Jackie didn't charge them $7,000 for one speech. Jackie charged them $84,000 for 12 speeches. So it's that kind of thing, plus media appearances, plus website, plus Facebook Live, plus video series, plus, 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 you can stack this up to literally a $500,000 sponsorship. So the short answer is carefully is how you start, and then very intentionally with a sponsorship approach letter, and we teach that and we give that to you. Mike is working on his right now. He's going to email it to me actually tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. So I mean, we're doing this. We have our hands in this right now with our clients. So this is not some pipe dream, maybe, sort of, kind of, you can do this. We're working on this with our clients right now.
Awesome.
Next question.
Yeah, so going back a little bit, Carrie was asking in regards to the naming and her branding. She said, what if I have 3 different targets? So this is in regards to the talk about naming of your business and titling. And what if she has 3 different targets, David?
Well, I got to ask the Dr. Phil question, right? How's that working for you? It is very tough in some cases to move 3 boulders up the hill. So I guess I would ask, how much overlap, how much relationship, how can we sort of synthesize and, can we zoom out, can we zoom in, can we somehow clump these together so it's not really 3 completely different marketing campaigns, 3 completely different kinds of decision makers? Because here's the deal, and I'm not sure in Carrie's case if this is in any way true. If it's plumbers, lunch ladies, and accountants, the problem is the plumbers never talk to the lunch ladies never talk to the accountants never talk to the plumbers. If you say, okay, you know what? It's actually accountants, real estate, and mortgage. If there's any mortgage industry left, I guess there is, I don't know. You say, okay, now those guys talk to each other a lot. So if you go to every accounting conference, you're going to run into some real estate people. You go to every real estate conference, you're going to run into some accounting people. You go to every accounting and real estate conference, you're going to run into some mortgage people or some banking people. So those 3, I might say, you know what? I'm at the intersection, and this is the exact language I recommend. I operate at the intersection of the commercial real estate industry. Oh, that sounds sexy. What does that mean? That means real estate, mortgage, and finance. Oh, that's really cool. And again, it's the way that we layer and the way that we articulate and the way that we give distinction to what you do. So serving 3 different markets right now can be a huge albatross around your neck. Doing it the way I just described, it actually becomes a marketing asset. That you are the only person, and again, it goes back to our Scott McClymon's case study. Scott says, I'm going to combine marketing and leadership and technology. It's like, wow, that's really cool. Ton of marketing guys, of course. Ton of leadership guys, endless. Ton of technology guys, endless and boring. One guy that can help with leadership plus technology plus marketing. Wow, you had me at hello. And often it's funny when Scott and I talk about this, his CEOs of these credit unions will pretty much say some version of you had me at hello. Because these 3 things usually do not talk to each other. They don't overlap, they don't intersect, even though when leadership is missing, guess what? Marketing and tech don't work. When marketing is broken, you can have great leaders in super tech and the credit union's not making money. And when you have awesome tech but no marketing and no leadership, well, you can imagine. So that can be an asset. Right now, it sounds like it's a liability. What I would say to Carrie is book a call. Let's get you on doitmarketing.com/apply, and let's see if we can hammer something together. What else? Other questions? Anything?
Yeah, Laura has one. How to parlay nonprofit speaking experience into corporate speaking experience?
Yeah, well, so the joke we have is sometimes if speakers spend too much time in a nonprofit environment, they become one. We don't want nonprofit speak. We like nonprofit clients. And by the way, never get trapped. A quick sidebar, even before we get to Laura's question. Nonprofits have money. Nonprofits have billions and billions of dollars. When a nonprofit exec says, well, we don't have the money, they're lying. I'm just going to tell you right now, straight up, they're lying. Sorry, they're lying. They have money, just maybe not for you, because you didn't dial in the relevance. You didn't dial in the value. You didn't dial in what they really want and package something in a way that they see that you can solve a problem for them. So that's the sidebar there. How do you parlay nonprofit speaking to corporate? Well, okay, I'm going to give you, man, I don't know. Should we give like really great stuff right here on this masterclass, Teresa? Should we keep that for the strategy calls?
You know, isn't that what we're about? Is value, 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 give, give, give?
All right. Okay, fine. So listen, Laura, the secret sauce to a nonprofit and the shortcut, the conduit to for-profit businesses is every single member of their board of directors. Every single member of their board of directors works for a big, beautiful, successful for-profit company. It might not be Fortune 500, but it's the big lawyer from the law firm in town. It's the guy that owns 3 restaurants. It's the commercial banker. It's the real estate person. It's some big top executives in some local companies. It could be big top executives in national or global companies. They sit on the boards of directors of these same nonprofits that you're helping and serving. So what I would do, you can deepen the relationship with the nonprofit and you can leverage the board of directors by either doing a presentation for the board that makes your executive director look like a rock star. You can do interviews with the board members and artfully segue and transition from all the great work that they know that you've done or you're about to tell them that you've done with their nonprofit that they're serving on as a volunteer, and then pivot that into a questioning strategy for how does this show up in your company? How does this show up in your boardroom? How does this show up when these kinds of problems raise their ugly head? And they're smart. I mean, so I'll tell you right now, executives are smart. People that hire us are smart. Our prospects are smart. You guys are smart. They know that there is a way that you can help them. It's not like, oh, I wonder, Laura, how you can possibly help us. You say, hey, if you ever want to talk about how we can take what we did for the Red Cross and implement it at your organization, if you're open to that conversation, let me know. I'd be happy to hop on a call for 15 minutes and share some ideas with you. Now, listen to that language. It's not happy puppy, hungry dog going after the red meat, going, ha, 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 buy my stuff, I want to sell you, I want to sell you, I want to sell you. It's the trusted advisor, high status, high touch, reaching out to help and serve before you sell. So we do this all again. I keep saying this. We do this all the time. We do that all the time. We do this third thing all the time. I mean, this is what we do: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, gang. So,
That's right.
you know, when I was asking Teresa, have we run into anything that's unfixable? You know, look at the car guys on NPR, right? Back, and again, sadly, one of those brothers passed away, but that was a very popular, very successful show. There was no car problem that you could stump those guys with. They've seen it all. They've fixed it all. Teresa and we've seen it all, and we've fixed it all. I think we have to change the name of our program, Teresa. It should be, instead of the car guys, the speaker guys.
Ooh, but I'm a girl.
Well, yeah, that's a problem, so that's out. Okay. But Laura, I hope that was helpful. Did that give you some idea of how to start to leverage that and turn that around?
The fantastic answer. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. And again, even more fantastic stuff might be waiting if you want to book a call. So again, for the folks that are still here, besides my charming voice, besides Teresa's lovely face, doitmarketing.com/apply. That's probably why you're here, is you want some help. You want to turn some situation around in your speaking-driven business. We can help you fix what's missing, broken, funky, and sad, help you crack the code, dial in success, maybe invite you to a longer relationship, and maybe not. But don't worry about that just when you book the call. We'll take care of that part if it's appropriate. There's no weird sales pressure. There's no gimmicks. There's no, we don't believe in any of that crap. The other guys do that, right? Grant Cardone does that. All these other internet marketing types do that. We're here to help people. We're here to help people. We're here to put money in your bank account. We're here to get you out of your rut and help you find your speaking groove. So that's what we do. Other questions? What else? What else can I help with? What other questions about the content? Questions about our 7 case study rock stars? Anything like that?
We have a quiet group. We have quite a few people left in the call, David. They've stuck it out to the very end, and there's just no new questions. It looks like that's it.
Looks like that's a wrap, my friend. Looks like that's a wrap. All right. Well, if the technology gods are smiling, there should be a replay here so people can catch up on any part of this they missed. I know some people had to hop off early. Other people had to come in late. The goodies that I promised you guys for hanging out till the end, those will be coming to you in an email over the next 10 or 15 minutes. You will love them. You will use them in good health. You will make money with them, I'm sure. And if Teresa and I can be of service, doitmarketing.com/apply. That is where to apply for a breakthrough session. We're going to look at your business. We're going to look at it kind of objectively, kind of cold, harsh light of day, tell you what's working, tell you what we think is missing, give you some ideas that might help you right away. If appropriate, maybe invite you to work with us long term. If so, that would be great. We're not working with everybody. We're looking for a few people. We're looking for the committed. We're looking for the serious. We're looking for the fast, brave, and smart. Fast, brave, smart, and committed, I think, Teresa, is what we landed on. Is that right?
That's right. Determined.
Determined. Determined. Fast,
and resourceful.
Smart, determined, resource. We got to write that up, dude. We got to write that up. That's key.
It is. It's a secret sauce right there.
Yeah, that's given me some clarity in what the hell we're doing. So I'm glad. Teresa, always a pleasure, my friend.
Ditto.
Thank you for being on with us. This was kind of a marathon session, went a little bit longer than I thought. Shorter than last time, but longer than I thought. And you guys are great for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye, everybody.